A mid-World War I German machine gunner's kit. It is lacking the rifleman's ammunition pouches because I would operate the machine gun. Now, I carry on my belt a P08 Luger as a backup weapon in case the machine gun's destroyed or jammed. On my back, I'm wearing what's called an assault pack. By 1916, the Germans would have ditched their square-framed knapsacks because they were simply impractical, and they would just take the blanket and their zelt, their half shelter, and wrap it in a sort of a horseshoe shape, and use their bread bag utility straps to fashion shoulder straps. And then in the center, they would have their mess kit, would be held in place in the center by leather straps.
Okay.
Now, on my back hip, I'm wearing the standard issue German Army S9805 bayonet. It will fit a K98, a Gewehr 98 rifle, but the machine gunners would use it to clear brush and small twigs and such to create a field of fire for the machine gun. Same thing for the entrenching tool. They're all strapped together to keep everything from rattling and bouncing around. But these will be used for digging in and preparing a position for the machine gun. And on my other hip is the bread bag. It's for carrying food and personal items of a non-military nature, such as socks, extra shirt, things like that. And the standard German Army issued canteen. It holds 0.8 liters of water, and it's the standard for all German forces during the war. On my head is the model 1916 Stahlhelm, or steel helmet, and it has a tan canvas cover to protect the helmet from the weather and also to help it blend in with the dirt and slag of the battlefield. Now, of course, it can be removed, and underneath it's the standard field gray color.
Okay.
Now, these would be produced in factories back in Germany, and unlike the Allied helmets, which were produced with the metal starting out as a slab, and it would be cold, it was a one-step process to make the Brody helmets, and they would stamp them out in one factory step. The problem with that is the tops of the helmets would become very thin. The German helmets were made in a 15-step process, and the metal would have started out hot, and they would have slowly pressed the helmet to form it into its final shape. The result is it's a uniform thickness all around. It's much higher quality, much better made. The Brody helmets were very thin and not effective.
I held one up and I was surprised at how thin and
these will actually.
Oh yeah, these definitely has some weight to it.
These will stop a bullet. These will stop a 45.
Right.
Now the bolts on the side, we call them the Frankenstein lugs. They were actually for fitting a reinforcing plate, a thick metal plate that would be strapped to the front of the helmet for machine gunners, because if a machine gunner is sitting in a position and firing, the muzzle flash, the enemy knows where he is. The enemy's going to shoot at that muzzle flash, and there's a very good chance that it's going to hit him right in the front of the head. So machine gunners would be issued this big plate to protect them. It's, it would definitely hurt him. He'd definitely know that he got hit, but it would at least save his life. So as for the uniform, I'm wearing a mid sort of transitional uniform. This is known as a 1915 transitional tunic. The ornate Brandenburg cuffs with the piping and the buttons were deleted, and they just have a simple turn-back cuff. The trousers, these are the early war stone gray style. As the war went on, the trousers would become the same color as the uniform, so that way they didn't have to mess with two different colors of fabric material. Instead of jack boots, I'm wearing ankle boots that only come up to about here, and what are called puttees. They originally started in the British Army, but by 1915-16, the Germans were issuing them as well. I personally think they're more comfortable. Jack boots, of course, are easier to get on. These take forever to actually put the puttees on, but they were more comfortable, and ultimately, they're using less leather. During the First World War, the Germans are getting all their leather equipment from Argentina. Now, the Royal Navy is going to cut that off, so the Germans have to try and conserve the leather that they can produce domestically for belts and other pieces of equipment. So you could, in the amount of leather that it takes to make one pair of jack boots, you can make two pair of ankle boots. And then to compensate for the legging, they would just take strips of cloth and wrap them around their lower leg to protect themselves from barbed wire and such. And most importantly, on the chest is worn the gas mask. Now, it comes with a metal can. It would not be worn in the metal can on the back. Wearing it on the back would only be done in transit when they're marching to and from. They're behind the lines. There's not much danger of a gas attack. but when up at the front, it could be worn either on its own or in the can up at the chest. The idea is if it's here, it can be quickly accessed to get on, because of course during a gas attack, time is of the essence. So they would always wear the gas mask in the ready position on the chest. So
I noticed, I think the Americans had a bag or something that would hang from their front.
Right, they would have a bag. They had the small box respirator style. The problem with the Americans' bag is that if you fall onto the gas mask, you can crush those eyelets, and then the gas mask is now useless because it's no longer airtight. Whereas with the metal can, if I were to fall on this, the can would protect the eyelets and prevent it from being destroyed.
Sure. Oh, interesting. Interesting.
So that would be the basic kit of a First World War German
And
machine gun.
that's, tell me about your belt buckle.
The belt buckle is Prussian. Each German state, there was Prussia, Bavaria, Württemberg, and Baden. Now they all fielded their own armies to form the Imperial Army. But each one of those would have had a different design for their belt buckle. This particular one is Prussian. The unit we portray is IR-52, which was from the Brandenburg area, which is the sort of the province, if you will, where Berlin is located.
Right.
Think of Gettysburg is located in Adams County. Well, Berlin is located in Brandenburg.
Right. So the unit you're portraying, it mostly served on the eastern front or the western front?
They served on both the western and eastern, and spent a brief time actually on the Italian front in the Alps as well. So they moved them around quite a bit.
Yeah, I traveled to some of the sites in northern Italy, and the Südtirol and Dolomites, and man, crazy some of the fighting that had to, trench warfare in the high alpine
They're
places.
starting to, like, some of the glaciers up there are starting to melt.
Some of that stuff, and they're finding stuff still. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Sure. Nice meeting you. Hope you enjoy.